Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode. In this episode we're going to make a Cuban yo-yo reel for fishing cruiser style. And this is what a Cuban reel looks like. You have a reel of line, you attach your lure of your choice to here, and you connect this to the boat and you stream all the line out the back of the boat, and this piece of elastic in the middle does all the fish fighting for you, so you don't have to expend any energy catching fish. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and if you have any comments on how to make one of these, leave it in the comments below and I'll answer them when I can. Well, good morning. Today we're going to go and make a video on how to make a fishing reel. It's based on a Cuban yo-yo reel, which is one of these, and that's how you hold it if you're right-handed. If you were left-handed, you would hold it like that. So in order to do this in true Blue Peter style, this is all the bits that you need. First of all, you need some sort of shock absorber. So this is an elastic out of spear gun, and it should be between 0.75 and 1.5 meters long. So I have it selected a 1 meter length. And then after that, we need two of these to go in the end of the elastic, and these have a little hole through them. We need some Dyneema to act as a safety line for the elastic in case the elastic breaks. I have selected a 4-mile braided cord Dyneema, and we need about maybe 4 meters of that. So we're getting about a 3-to-1 safety ratio on our elastic. In order to attach to the boat, we need a carabiner. And we'll need some pieces of heat shrink, 2 pieces to go over the elastic, and some pieces to go over the monofilament line. And talking of the line, we need about 50 meters of your selected breaking strain of line. I have got 100 meters here of 250 pound line. We will also need some crimps for the fishing line. We will need some thimbles for the monofilament line. And finally, we will need some sort of swivel for the end of the line. We also need some Dyneema to make loops to attach the elastic to the safety rope and the fishing line. And we need some protection for the Dyneema where we're going to attach it onto the boat. Okay, so this is just 32 strand Kevlar tubing that you use to put on for shade protection when you're doing ocean passages. For tools, we will need a crimping tool, we will need a pair of pliers, we will need a blowtorch for the heat shrink, and we'll need a pair of sharp scissors. And the last thing we need is some squeezy liquid, and we are using Quicks, but they're quite sure there are other brands out there. So stage one is making our elastic. So we need our elastic, we need our, I don't know what it's called, end, and we need our pliers. So all we do here is put a wee bit of squeezy in the hole at the end of the tube, like so. Open up our pliers, grab a plug, and just force that in. And then it goes, just like that. We now need to seize off these two ends. So there's a variety of ways we can do it. We could put Jubilee clips on it, I suppose. We could put wire gas ferrules on it, or we can put a knot on it. So I'm going to use a constrictor knot around here. So to make off the ends, I'm using my 1.5mm Dyneema cord. I've made a constrictor knot here, and we just pull on it very tightly, And the reason why it's called a constrictor knot is because it ain't ever coming undone. So I'll just trim off these ends, and this is what I've done. This is to prevent this plug from coming out. So I'll get my scissors. I'll just trim that off. I'm just going to wrap that round, and this is where our heat shrink comes in. And we put our heat shrink round here, and then we'll just use a heat gun or a creme brulee. Probably better to use a heat gun rather than this way I'm doing it. We do the exact same on the other end. This is what it now looks like. This part here is now complete, and I can put this to the side for the time being. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to make our safety cord out of our 4mm Dyneema. Now it might be better if you had 12-strand Dyneema, because you'll be able to put Brummel splices in that. So I won't be able to do that. I just need to find the end of this rope, which is here. And for this, it doesn't really matter how long this is. It can be as long as you like, but we want at least 3:1 ratio from on our elastic. So I'm just going to cut off about, this is 1 metre. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to use 4 metres because we'll have to make some loops in this, and that'll reduce it somewhat. We'll just singe this end. So on each, health and safety. On each end we want a wee loop. On one end it has to go through our carabiner, and I want to use some of this protection so that we don't. So we're going to do this. We're just feeding this on. Maybe feeding this on. Come on out. Come on out. Right. So this wants to go through here. And all I'll do is just tie a wee bowline in that. And then maybe put a wee bit of whipping around it to keep it all pretty nice. It would be better if we could put an eye splice in this, but this won't splice. That's why if you use 16-strand Dyneema, you'd be able to put a nice Brummel splice in there. And then at the other end, I'm just going to put, this is the end we'll attach to our fishing line to. So I don't need any protection here because I've got something to go on the fishing line. I'm just going to do an overhanded loop on this. Like so. Just then, so what I've done is I've come in maybe about half a metre and I've tied a wee loop. I've used the Alpine butterfly knot here to make myself a wee loop. This is for connecting this onto there. Okay? And at the other end, I need to do the same, but what I'll do here is I'll just temporarily put a bowline in here. This bowline could probably just actually stay. So I've just used the bowline at this end, and what I'll do is I'll tidy that off and I'll whip it all up later. So again, come in the same distance. So I need to use my phone so I know how to tie the knots. So number 2 is the middle one, goes underneath number 3, which is the outer one, and then it comes all the way back and goes over here. Then it comes under them all like that, and then that's it. And we just want to sneak it all in, and as you can see, I have another loop. Right, so that's that bit dealt with just now. So we can put them away and him away. And Irene's coming out for a fag, so we'll pause it at this point. So for our line, we've got our line. We'll just undo these. This is a 100 metre line, so I'm just assuming if I cut there, that's 50 and that's 50. It doesn't really matter on the length. It doesn't need to be exact, so that'll be for when we lose all that. So on our two ends, what we're going to do is, on one end we're going to put our swivel with our attachment. This is £240 test. Our line's £250 test. So, well, we've got some crimps here, and we've also got some heat shrink that will hopefully not go over our crimp. So I'll need to stop it now and go and get some more heat shrink. So this bit of heat shrink's the wrong size, so I'll need to go into my fishing kit to get a bigger bit. Shizen. I'll need to go into my electrical kit to get a bigger bit. So I'm back. I've got a bigger bit of heat shrink from the electrical kit. Thanks, Danny. And I'll just cut two bits the same size. So on one end, we're just going to put a thimble, and most people just use one crimp. However, I like to be nice and safe, and I'll put two crimps on, and we'll feed that back in itself. And we want to make that, put our thimble in, we'll just close our thimble with our pliers, and we'll get our crimps out. Hopefully these are big enough. So I've just put a wee temporary crimp on that to hold it all together. I'll put this one on, and hopefully that's just about perfect. So I just want to go and sneak a wee bit off this line. Put that there, keep it in line. We'll just have to work our way all the way up the crimp, crimping it together. we bought these crimps in Cape Verde, in Mindelo. Was it? No, it wasn't. It was... We bought them in Barbados. Irene's just corrected me. When Mr. Noble was with us. And they've come in handy. So, this is us now all crimped. And we'll just slide up our heat shrink. Put our heat shrink on. That's that end done, and for the other end we'll put our heat shrink on, we'll put our 2 crimps on, and this time we're going to attach, I don't know what they're called, a swivel with a attachment thingy, doohickey. So do that. Again, we're just going to close this thimble up a wee bit. Put this on. I'll give it just a wee cut a wee bit of this, it's a wee bit long again. And then we'll position that there, and we'll just crimp this all up. So that's our line now finished. The only final thing we've got to do is load it onto our spool, and what we'll do is we'll have this end here will go on first, but we'll lay it up like that, and then we'll wind all this on, and then this will be at the top, and then we'll connect this onto that with a loop. So I'll go do the next bit off camera, winding all this on, because it'll be quite boring, and then I'll be back. So this is now all wound on. So, and remember, this end is for the lure, so we'll pick out our good old Faithful. He's been trawled across the Atlantic, and you can see he's well battle scarred, so he'll just attach on here. Don't need any weights, because this will allow it to sit just below the water, which is where you want to be. You don't need to be down deep. So what I've done is I've got about, I don't know, 150mm, 200mm length of Dyneema. And all I want to do is feed that through the hole on our elastic. Easier said than done. Voila. We go to our shock absorber, not a shock absorber, our safety line, sorry. And one end will attach through here. Again, I'm just going to do a wee overhand loop. Like so. So what we have is like that. And then on the other end, just a wee knot bit tied in it. Our other end gets tied on here. Again, we'll just use an overhanded loop. Like that, and then this I'll have to untie because this has got to go through the line. And if I move this over here, and I get my line, this goes through here, and then we're going to have to just tie a bow line on it. So what happens now is you strip all this line onto the cockpit floor, you put your lure on this end, you attach the carb to the boat, and then the elastic takes the shock of the fish striking and plays the fish. And that's meant to be it. So we'll try this when we sail down to Bequia next week. And I'll let you know how we got on. And this should all just wrap up now. Like this. And there you go. A Cuban yo-yo, going fish cruiser style. Right, goodbye. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode and thanks for watching. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. As you can see behind me, it's not very nice. We're currently in St Lucia and a tuna fish has just jumped in front of us. In our next episode, we'll hopefully put the reel to good use and maybe catch something to eat. And on the way back down to Trinidad, we'll hopefully tick off some of the things we missed on the way up. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and I'll leave a couple of links to some previous episodes here. That's all for now, folks. Saracen out. See you. I only need one take.